Hey everyone, this is Hernan again with you. This is part 2 of the local client takeover tutorial series. So on part 1 I made a quick introduction of what I wanted to cover here, and this on part 2 we will be digging a little bit more on the techniques for pretty much taking over any local niche. Okay guys, so the main idea of this is to add this knowledge to what you already know all about link building and GSA and maybe SAP or citations, anything that you're doing. And please remember that this also works really well, not only for local clients but also for your own projects, affiliate projects. But for local clients this could be a total overkill. Okay guys, so have that in mind. Anyways, so on the past video we ended up with this slide. Okay, we set up a WordPress blog on a subdomain in case your local client didn't have one, or in case you didn't have one because you have an e-commerce. The best way to go is to get a WordPress blog on a subdomain, okay, and get your client posting. That could be maybe upselling them on a writing service, or maybe do some curation, okay, showing them how to do curation. We do that a lot on Semantic Mastery. But basically that was the end of the last video. So now that we have our blog, the next part would be to get our social media profiles going. Okay, many clients will already have kind of a social presence. Okay, on the next video I'm going to show you which profiles to open, okay, for maximum impact. But some of them will already have their social presence. Some of them will have a couple of social profiles which we will leverage on because they are raised properties, and probably they are themed because they have usually been posting over there, like Facebook, Twitter, a Facebook page, Twitter, Google Plus, sometimes a Google Maps listing, okay, maybe some citations that also allow an RSS feed, or adding content to those. But basically some of your clients we already have it. Now what you can offer to them, and this is another service that you can offer to them, is to increase their social media presence. Now the problem with this is that when you start talking about opening 25 or 30 additional accounts to what they already have, they usually panic because they don't have the resources of the time or the time to manage them. Okay, but the techniques that I'm going to share with you guys over the next video, they're going to save all of that hassle of hiring social media managers, okay, to manage your social media ring. So what's important about a social media ring? You will say, well, I like to think about social media rings in terms of SEO and in terms of traffic. Okay, in my opinion there isn't a better link than a link that will bring you traffic. Okay, so if a link will bring you traffic, then by all means build it. So but not only for traffic but for SEO purposes, a link is a link. It doesn't matter if it's a no follow, it doesn't matter if it's inside an iframe, if it's embedded, it doesn't matter. Okay, a link is a link from an SEO perspective. That's the way I like to think about it, and that's the way I usually build my social media rings. I'm not a social media manager, okay, just so you guys know. So your social media ring or your branded properties, okay, those properties that have the name of the company or your client, or maybe your keyword on the name, on the URL, and the name of the property will be network empire guys call it your golden frame. So we're gonna call it like that. It's your golden frame. Okay, basically what you're trying to do with your social media ring is not only build traffic and trust and social signals, but also build kind of pre-sell the visitor to your website. Okay, so your social media profiles, as being high DA, you will also treat them as potential landing pages. Okay, so you will treat them as high DA trust flow buffers, okay, or as Bradley call them in Semantic Mastery as your SEO firewall. Okay, so this will allow you, and the techniques that we're going to show you in the next video, on the 4th video of this tutorial series, this will allow you to keep your money sites clean, all right, but and having high DA, high domain authority, high trust flow buffer sites to do your link building to. Okay. And also have in mind, guys, that if you have a Facebook page, that if you have a WordPress blog or YouTube channel, they can also rank. Okay. And if they can also rank, they can get traffic, and you can get a sale, you can get a new lead over those profiles. Okay. And these can also be spam entry points. Okay. Instead of spamming your money site or your client site, use your social profiles. Okay. These are great buffers. So basically what you would do is to go outside, to go out there, and I'll show you in the next video which properties to build. But you will go out there and build the usuals: Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest. Those are the four more important, but then you can have Tumblr, blogger.com, yeah, WordPress.com. You know, you can get about.me, you can get Gravatar, which is linked to your WordPress account, and you can get a bunch of those. I'll show you a list of those. So you can go out there and get all of those built for your client, okay, or for your website if you're doing leads as well. So, and some people will say, okay, but if I go outside and get a bunch of social media, then they can get terminated. And you will be right, unless you treat them as you would treat your money site. That is, you would treat them as a landing page. Basically what you would want to do is, no matter where you're pointing your links to, later on we will talk about it, but no matter where you're pointing your links to, all of your social profiles and ultimately your money site will benefit from it. Okay. So the main idea here is that you treat them as your landing pages. So try to flesh them out as much as possible. Okay. And I'm seeing over and over again a lot of link opportunities wasted because the owner of a company or the SEO behind a lead generation website doesn't take the time, you know, to properly flesh out a social profile. And here I have a couple of prints of, for example, Google+. Okay, Google+ allows you a presentation or a description of the profile, whether it is a persona, a profile, or a Google+ page. Okay, so use that to link back to your site. It's a no-follow, but it doesn't matter. It helps the topical trust flow and the theme of your network. Okay, and then you can add a bunch of links. Okay, so as I was saying, you don't need to manage them. I'll talk a little bit more about that over the next module. And you can interlink all of your properties, and that's the secret to keep them relevant and to keep them worthy for the search engines, and not only the search engines but the visitors as well. Okay, so as you can see, I have links. Sorry, but my I don't know what Chrome was in Spanish at that moment, but as you can see, I have other profiles. I have a Twitter profile. I'm a contributor on the website, and then I have all of my links, okay, listed below, kind of creating a hub, a semantic hub. A semantic hub, so to speak, is a concentrator of links. So it's a property where you can list a bunch of your other social profiles. Okay, and this is really interesting, and it will become more and more interesting as we dive into link building. Okay, so basically the secret is in the link, which with this I mean link back to most of your social profiles or your other social profiles. Okay, this is kind of what Network Empire Touch based on a while ago on domain authority stacking. Well, we are using a bit of those, okay, but with a twist, because once you have all of your hubs, these concentrators of links and these high domain authority profiles, what you can do is to mark them up on your website. Okay, so what you want to do is to keep doing the authorship for Google+. Okay, if you don't know how to do it, go Google+ authorship. Whether they listed on, you know, they used to list that Gravatar, that avatar on the search engines. They don't do that anymore, but it doesn't matter. Okay, it's a markup and it works. Knowledge graph, you can have your knowledge graph tabs and your knowledge graph info for Facebook via Yoast. Okay, if you download Yoast, and on the social tab you will find that knowledge graph information, okay, which is really interesting. Even further, if you want to then go with PPC or whatever you want to do on Facebook, it's really interesting to have your knowledge graph in place. Twitter cards, that's a killer, because Twitter cards will show much bigger on the Twitter timeline for your visitors, okay, for your followers. So use Twitter cards, because the CTR for those Twitter cards will go through the roof, okay. And the Pinterest code, Pinterest will give you kind of a webmaster's code, okay, and you can add that on Yoast as well. And here's a good tip that you can use. You can use the attribute same as, okay. The attribute same as on schema.org will help you rank on the knowledge graph on Google. So if your local client, or if your website doesn't have same as attributes, try to put it on a couple of links. If you're linking back to social profiles, try to put them on there, and when somebody looks for your brand, okay, all of your social profiles will also be listed on the search, okay. So, and this is really powerful, guys. And I show you, this is a print that I got from Search Engine Land. That's the URL in case you want to dive a bit further. But here you have a div with item scope, which is schema, okay, and you have the item prop name, Tom Hanks, and the item prop same as, okay, will allow you to put a link to, in this case, Wikipedia, which makes a lot of sense to me, because Wikipedia, it's a high DA link, okay. So if you have a Yelp listing, listed with the same as attribute. If you have a Facebook page, listed with the same as. If you have, I don't know, a SlideShare account, and you're using that to share your PDF, listed as your same as, okay, guys. So you can create a bunch of goodness with this little markup, and it takes literally no time to place it on your links, okay, guys. So on the next module, what we're gonna do is to see how we can manage all of these new social profiles, and how we can go ahead posting them without the needs to hire a small army of social media managers. Okay, guys, hope you like it. Leave your comments. Thanks.